Hello, welcome back, everyone, to the Victory Podcast. I'm your host, Steve McGrath, alongside Chris Haddad. And today we're joined by a very special guest. Today we have with us Pierre Woods. And Pierre, just so you guys know, was a 2000 second-team All-American coming out of high school. He played in the U.S. Army All-American Bowl. Then went to University of Michigan. He had second-team All-Big Ten honors in 2003. When he left Michigan, he turned pro in 2006, where he signed with the Patriots. Had a nice 5-year career in the NFL, mostly with the Patriots, had a couple games in Buffalo, and he also has a little bit of experience in the AFL. So please give it up for Pierre Woods. Pierre, thank you so much for joining us.
Man, thanks for having me. I appreciate you guys.
Well, Pierre, I know, of course, you had your 5-year career in the NFL, really talented football player, but you were a multi-sport athlete. You know, I think if my notes are correct here, you were a 3-year starter in basketball. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
So I just wanted to ask, to kick this off, you know, how much do you think being a multi-sport athlete helped you become a better football player?
It helped me tremendously, man. Basketball was like a passion once because I was too skinny coming up, and I weighed too much to be able to play football, like Pop Warner, Union League football. And I'm happy I didn't play. I used to play street football at all the dudes in the hood, you know, the guys in my neighborhood, against older guys and everything. But it keeps you to keep your neck up and not put your head down and things like that. But basketball, man, the footwork, being able to do things that people would be like, man, no, you didn't do that. I always tell folks all the time, like in high school, I took off on the free throw line 10 times in a row. And they was like, man, no, you didn't. So I always say, well, if you don't believe me, get in touch with Troy Smith and my high school point guard. I mean, my high school basketball coach, God rest his soul, he passed away my senior year, but he was just like amazed, like, man, how did you do that? And I was like, man, I don't know. It's just, you know, I was just one of those freak of athletes where literally I can take off from anywhere and jump real high. And if I could do it all over again, honestly, I think I would have played basketball. I would have took basketball more serious because easily I could have still been playing. My homeboy, Jawad Williams, went to North Carolina, and he always like, man, come play basketball with me. But I chose football, man. I love hitting people, man.
So, and you mentioned Troy Smith. You know, I'm not as well versed about the basketball team you played on, but for football, you played under Ted Ginn Sr., and some of your teammates were Troy Smith, but also Ted Ginn Jr., Dante Whitner. You know, what was it like for you, you know, just as a young teenager, you're getting a chance to play under, you know, some of the guys that also go to the NFL, have great careers. You know, how much do you think that helped you actually get to the level of being able to play at a Michigan and obviously make it into the NFL?
Well, Ted was a freshman. Dante was a sophomore. I know he's a sophomore. And Troy came in. He left St. Ed's, and he came in my junior year. It was a track season, though. Being able to play under Coach Ginn and learn everything, and the way he just put so much on us, really on me, my junior, my senior year, to show me how to be a leader and to teach me how to be a leader as well, and to lead my team, and then be able to take whatever any head coach from college try to put on you. The way he came at me was so that if a college coach said something, he couldn't break me mentally, physically, or spiritually. And that's something he can't do anymore because these kids will literally, they'll go and run and transfer if he talked to them the way he talked to me. Being able to play with all those guys, the best football players I ever played with, first is Randy Moss, hands down. Tom Brady, and then this kid named Darius Hiley, who went to Ohio State, but he got in trouble. Never touched the field. But in Northeast Ohio, he's one of the top greatest 50 players. Now, mind you, top greatest, one of the top guys, 50 greatest of Northeast Ohio of all times. He's never even touched the college field. Like, he went to Ohio, but he never played. Like, God-given talent like no other. We all worked on our speed. This kid, man, literally, he told Philip Farmer, we went down to Tennessee, I'm about to run a 4.4. And this dude was like, what? He was like, yeah, I'm about to run a 4.4. We just got the van. He shook his legs out. Got down, ran a 4.4. Craziest stuff ever. Freak of an athlete. He's like a legend around Cleveland. He's the only guy who did not touch a college football field, or neither has he ever went to the pros, but he is one of the top and greatest athletes in Northeast Ohio. So I always give him his P's because hands down behind Randy Moss, he's probably the best athlete I've ever seen in my life.
Wow.
Yeah. So you go from, as Steve mentioned, the Army All-American Bowl, you play in that, and then it's recruiting time, right? Can you take us through the recruiting process and why you ultimately chose Michigan?
In the recruiting process, I didn't take all my 5 visits. I wish I had. Like, I always tell kids, man, if you can take those visits, take them. That's what they're for. You get 5, go on to take the 5. You got your top 5 schools. Don't let nobody pressure you into doing something that you don't want to do. After I played it was the first high school All-American game, won the U.S. Army game at the time. The recruiting process was simple, man. I think I already committed in October, if I'm not mistaken, to the University of Michigan. But Iowa was the first Big Ten team to offer me a scholarship. So I always, stayed in contact with Kirk Ferentz and Phil Parker and those guys. So I had, I guess it was just loyalty. So I already committed to Michigan, but I went to Iowa anyway on an official visit and had a great time. It was just too far from my mother's car to make it. Through all them cornfields. So I felt like if she was gonna try to drive down there to go to a game, she wouldn't have made it. So I went to Michigan. I felt at home. It was nice and quiet. It was peaceful. It's one of the best places. I love to go to the University of Michigan. Every year I'll go up there just to walk around because it's just a peaceful place. It's one of the top 10 safest places to stay in the United States of America year in and year out. And there's nothing like the University of Michigan. I mean, I don't care win, lose, or draw. I'm always be a Wolverine. I'm always going to be a Michigan man. And like I said, there's just nothing like it. That maize and blue.
Yeah. Hey, we had John Jansen on the show not too long ago, and same thing. It seems like the guys that go there have that pride from there and really take an honor in playing Michigan football and going to that school.
Yeah, it's just it's the people up there, man. Honestly, like it ain't always, it ain't about the coaches. Like the coach that I had that recruited me, he left, and in hindsight, knowing what I know now, when he left, I should have left. But at the same time, like I stayed because that was my commitment. That's what I'm saying, I'm a man of my word. Loyalty is everything to me, and even when things went bad, like people look at it like, well, Pierre, you didn't get drafted. I should have been drafted. Like, what I'm saying? But some things that happened, what I'm saying, bridges never got burnt on my end. But hey, it's part of life. So you live and you learn, and you grow from it.
Yeah, and I want to transition into that too. You went undrafted. Can you talk a little bit about draft day? What was that day was like for you, or were you at home just waiting? Were you getting phone calls?
I was actually chilling with Braylon Edwards, Dave Underwood, Mike Hart, like a whole bunch of my teammates.
Yeah.
And it was like weird because it was like, all right, I know I'm not going to get drafted. You know what I'm saying? I didn't do anything much to get drafted. Besides playing a lot of special teams. And then I started I think the last 5 games of my 5th year. And that was only because they were 1 week I'll be a linebacker, 1 week I'll be a defensive end.
Yeah, that's with your hands on the ground. Yep.
Kept playing the game back and forth. And then once Lamar Woodley got hurt, it was like, all right, we need you. Like now we need you. When Rondell Biggs got hurt, I saved the Michigan State game. And it was crazy because they were like, no, he's not going to play. The next week, we play Minnesota. I remember like it was yesterday, like when it comes to this, like my short-term memory sucks, but my long-term memory is pretty good. We played Minnesota, and I'm like, Prescott, come out the game, man. He didn't want to come out the game. Gave up the edge to Gary Russell, man, and literally, like, we lost a little brown jug, and I think we went on an Iowa week, and that's when I started playing. I played well. So, that whole process, that draft and everything like that, during my pro day, what I did was I did 3 different positions, and people were tripping. So I did D-line first, and then we only had 1 tight end going. So then I did tight end drills with Tim Massaquoi. Left there and went straight to linebacker. And the whole process, the whole time, didn't drink no water. I just was going.
Yep.
So I think that, at the time, the GM at Detroit now is Bob Quinn. He was the guy that was, came out there to scout me. And the rest is history, I guess. The rest
Yep.
is history.
Yep. So we sorry, go ahead, Steve.
No, so and of course Bob Quinn came from New England because at the time he was a New England assistant, and
Right.
we now know that you ended up signing with New England. So what was it like going through? Just so you do go undrafted, how many different phone calls are you getting? How do you actually go about making that decision?
Man, it's so weird. So my defensive coordinator at the University of Michigan, who I respect tremendously, Jim Herman. He was the guy who had got demoted from the University of Michigan from D coordinator to just linebacker coach, and he was like, "No, I don't want to be a linebacker coach." Ron English was about to take over to be the D coordinator and defensive back coach, and he was like, "I'm gonna leave." So he went to the Jets. He's calling me like, "Pierre, you got to come up here, this and that." Like, and I just always keep it real, man. I don't sugarcoat nothing. I don't hide anything. He was like, "Well, you got to come up here." He said, "Have I ever steered you wrong?" I said, "Well, coach, I'm gonna be honest with you. You can dig me once, you'll never dig me twice." He was like, "What do you mean?" I said, "You could have played me at the University of Michigan, and the only time you did is when some guys got hurt. I wouldn't even be in this position for you to be calling me and saying, like, I need you to undraft a guy. Make sure you make this team on special teams." One thing you cannot deny, in the Big Ten, I was feared on special teams. People knew that, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can ask Lawrence Maroney. You can ask, was a kid from Penn State, Derek, I can't think of his last name. But ask anybody in the Big Ten. They didn't want to see it with me on special teams, like on kickoff, punt, whatever it was. I made sure, and it was the same thing. I knew when I went to New England, I was gonna have to make the team on special teams. I wasn't a starting linebacker. In a few games I did start before I broke my jaw, um, was a blessing. You know what I'm saying? So, had I not broke my jaw, had I got a longer face mask like Matt Patricia told me, I probably would have still been playing. But God is good, man, and the experience that I had was just a blessing.
So just to fast forward, just 1 year, get you to the '07 team with the Patriots. Of course, we know that's a team that goes undefeated in the regular season, but comes up just short of going undefeated the entire way through the playoffs. What was special about that team? Of course, we know Brady, Tomas, two Hall of Famers throwing the ball back and forth. But outside of that, what was it about that team that just you guys found a way to win week in and week out?
Everybody just gelled together, man, and we believed. My late great brother, man, Junior Seau. Sometimes it's hard for me to talk about him, but he used to always say, you and me in the locker room, we got some work to do. Before we left the locker room, that was like the end of whatever speech he was saying. You and me in this locker room, we got some work to do. And I'm talking about, like, it just threw fire on us. Like, and then, Bill, it was just, one play at a time, and that's it. It's the same mantra, you know what I'm saying? One play at a time, put the team first, do your job, be on time, manage expectations. Like, and that's what the guys believe. And the film study, the time together, making that bond with your brothers as a family is unlike anywhere else. When I went to Buffalo, way different. That old 17 was so special, man. I mean, guys we were just all together. It was all for one, man, and that's what it was. It was just a band of brothers, all for one. So when you seen one, you seen that's what you seen. You seen a patriot that one guy was. We were just one big muscle, one big heart.
Now, that you mentioned about checking your ego at the door, is that something that's enforced by the veterans, or is that something that is the mantra of when you get into New England because of Bill Belichick, that you're kind of expected to do so?
I think at that time it was because of the veterans. A lot of the veterans are like that. A lot of the young guys didn't like Teddy, but I love Teddy personally. Braves, Rosie, Dalius. I heard someone say that I thought I was a Dalius Thomas. I thought I was bigger than what I was. It's so crazy, and the person that said it was like, somebody that was supposed to be, you know, close to me, that's supposed to look out for me. And I was like, not one time I ever thought I was a Dailius Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
And a daily, anybody know me know that, you know what I'm saying? Very humble guy, very down to earth, just want to, you know, play ball, love my family, take care of my family. And that's it. Like, you know, love New England. But when I heard that guy say that, I was just like, wow, that's crazy. I'm not gonna put his name out there. I'm pretty sure if you ever see this, he'll know what he's who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was some pretty wild stuff there, and I was like, wow. And I think that's the reason why a lot of guys don't go with him like that anymore. I mean, he still get guys, but um, it's pretty bad. But besides that, man, like now I believe it's Bill and some of the veterans, but you know, at the same time, with all the veteran leadership that we had before they traded Vrabel and you know Teddy retired and stuff like that, those guys definitely ran that locker room. And you know, on the offensive side, it was Matt Light and you know Brady and you know Randy and stuff like that. So it all gelled together, all clicked together, man.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And I know you kind of hit on this a little bit talking about Bill, but just in general, you know, we love asking anyone that spent some time in New England, you know, what is it about him that, you know, his approach, what he's doing that just year in, year out for nearly, you know, 20 years now, you can book the Patriots as being, you know, a double-digit win team, a playoff team.
His commitment to the game, his constant effort of being great. It's something that, you know, I went up to Detroit and I was watching, you know, Detroit practice with Matt Patricia, and it's the same thing. Like, you know, that whole mantra. And it's not to think that you bigger or better than anybody else. People think Bill's an asshole, and he's not. He's truly not. Like, if you feel that way, it's because you don't know the man. You don't know the coach. You don't see him enough. So, and in the face of the media, like us talking or whatever, he's not going to give you very much. But in the face of his players, from the guy from the highest to the lowest, everybody gets it. That's why when in '07, when the Dailies Thomas brought them shirts out, Humble Pie, it was the truth. And it's still, if I'm not mistaken, it still is the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody still gets it. It doesn't make a difference. If Tom throws a pick, he's going to get on Tom's ass.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to let him know, like, man, that's bull. You know what I'm saying? So people may say, oh, it's eternal. These guys are going at each other and this and that. It's not that, man. Everybody wants to win. I look at it like this, and I tell people all the time. Joe Thomas played, 11 years in the league? 11. I have more wins than Joe Thomas. I only played 5.
That's a stat.
That's crazy, yeah.
And it's crazy because he's a Hall of Famer, and I respect Joe Thomas and all those guys that played for the Cleveland Browns. But think about that. I only played 5 years. And it wasn't even a full 5 in the sense they gave me a credited season in 2010 when I got released and came back. But even when I was in Buffalo, I went 2-2. I had more wins in my career just off of those 4 years in New England, real true 4 years in New England, and then the 1 year I came back late, and then the 4 games in Buffalo. Got more wins than Joe Thomas. That's crazy.
It is.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. And people be like, what are you talking, man? Listen.
Now, just going back to Bill real quick, why you said he gets after everybody, and you know, we had Antoine Smith on the show who played running back for the Patriots, and he said one thing he loved about Bill was some coaches, you know, they put you in the doghouse, and you know, me, Steve, and I played too, college and high school. You get that sometimes from those coaches where they put you in the, they don't want to talk to you because they're mad at you, or whatever. They put you in the doghouse. He said that Bill's not like that. He'll grab you, sit you down, put the film on, and then cuss you out there. So he said that's one thing all the players respected was that he got after him, you know. And
like I say that.
Yep.
I respect that. Like I seen, like I went up to Detroit. I went to Detroit practice, and I seen Matt Patricia pull a guy to the side and do the same thing. But you can respect a man no matter what, from wherever he is. Like if my college coach was like that, I would respect him that much more. Bill would pull you to the side and show you. Like he asked me something one time when I was on the field and I did something. He was like, "You sure that's what you did?" I said, "Yeah." He was like, "Okay, I'll let you know." So we go into the film And I mean, he called me out on this is the play you said that you did this and you didn't do it. God dang it. So I can respect that, man. Like as a man and anybody that call himself a man, you want to be respected, but you also want if it's something that you do wrong and somebody can point it out, tell you that you're wrong about it, but you know it's out of love to make sure that you're better at what you're doing. Like you can't do nothing but respect that. Like I have the utmost respect for Bill. People may, some guys may not. I can't, account for those guys. But from what he's taught me, from me being around him, teaching me how to become a young man, a better father, a better person, better player, all that, the utmost respect. Because one thing, like I said, everybody gets it, man. Humble pie, everybody gets it.
Yep.
The
So
Lord
just
just
curious,
like,
you played in Buffalo for a little bit. Why do you think it is that head coaches aren't like that? They aren't getting after their guys like Bill is. Is it just in fear of turning the superstar off and he'll leave, or is it more the business side of it where they're afraid to get after guys and Bill's confident in the scheme and what he does that he can have guys come in and out? Or like, what do you think it is that why more coaches aren't getting after their guys like he does?
we go back to that entitlement.
Okay. Yep.
Guys, make more than what a coach made.
Mm-hmm.
But if you listen to that coach and you believe in that coach and you believe in your team and what you guys have going on, then you're gonna listen. And then if it festers through that guy who is the top tier guy who's getting paid the most, then it should just fester through everybody. In Buffalo, Chan Gailey, like, and I'm gonna say it, you know what I'm saying? Because I mean, I don't whatever. When I was there on an exit visit, he was like, "So what do you think about our defense?" And coming from New England, then going to Buffalo playbook, they were still in the training camp playbook, which is about that thick. In New England, when we in game week, the playbook is about that, like that. And if anything happens, we adjust on the fly. Went in with 150 calls every week.
Wow.
150 calls.
Yeah.
So the exit interview, Changeli said, "Well, we're going to bring you back and we're going to make sure we want to see what you can do." And I said, "Okay, coach." He said, "What do you think about our defense?" I said, "Well, coach, I was only here for 4 weeks. And honestly, I'm like, some of the things should be suppressed." He was like, "Oh, okay." I said, "What do you think about the defense?" "Well, I don't worry about our defense, nor our special teams. All I worry about is my offense." And right there, that blew my mind. Like, because if you ask Bill that, Bill's going to tell you about the offense, the defense, the special teams, the coaches, the players, every last one of them,
mm-hmm.
his kids. Everybody's going to know. He's going to know Mr. Kraft. He's going to tell you about everybody. Nobody's exempt. Nobody. But when that man said that, I said he should not be a head coach. Like, and then he lied to me. Like, "Oh, yeah, we're going to bring you back." Then he cut me. And it was like, when I tried to say something to him, he just hung the phone up. So to this day, if I ever see the man, I'll say hello, but there will be no respect there because, like I said, I can take when a man is going to be upfront with you and say what he needs to say. Like, but the way he did it, if I seen some people beating him up, I'll walk right by. That's real talk, man. That's real talk. Like, no bull crap. Like, you laughing, but I'm dead ass serious.
Yeah.
Like, if it was Bill, it can be 50 of them. I'm jumping in.
Yeah.
Jumping in. Like, what's up? But Chan Gailey, he get his ass whooped.
So, Pierre, I want to fast forward a little bit to the 2008 season. Brady unfortunately goes down. I want to talk a little bit about that injury and how it affected the team. Him being the quarterback for that long now, your guy goes down, right? So what's the team? How's the team rally around that and ultimately win as many games as you guys did?
Well, you have to be like next man up. That was the motto, the next man up. I believe that that preseason, like Castle sucked it. He sucked it off that preseason. It was terrible. They know that McIntyre's outplayed Castle, but Castle's been there. That he had the plus with Brady being who he is and telling Castle, bringing him along by his coattail. He didn't I think that that was the same year Brian Hoyer had came in. They released McIntyre's, and then Brian was a backup, and then they brought back McIntyre's after Brady went down. But yeah, man, it was just it was crazy. Castle, what he did was he made himself a lot of money. Castle went out there that 1 year, handled his business, took care of his business, and he's still playing. I think he's in Detroit now still. So it's just, man, sometimes you just get that outcome, and good things happen. You know what I'm saying? So it's a blessing for Castle and his wife and his family. But yeah, I think that year, if that didn't happen, we definitely would have made the playoffs. And the crazy thing was, we had what I think 10 wins and 6 losses, and we still missed the playoffs. And the only team that did that was the year before, was the Cleveland Browns. It was just, the AFC division just got harder and harder. It's not like that now. Now it's like, out the East, New England's going to come out for the most part. Then in the AFC South, it's between Tennessee or Houston or Jacksonville, or, you know what I'm saying? AFC West, Denver was the top of the ring. Now it's like, Kansas City can be it, or Oakland, or maybe Los Angeles Chargers now. So it switches everywhere else, but that one dynamic place is New England. So it's like, all right, no matter what, we got to get these wins, because we don't want to go up to New England and play late in the playoffs in that stadium against Brady, against those guys. That's like kryptonite to us. I don't care what Jalen Ramsey say; he can say what he want to say. Gronkowski gonna run that boy over.
Now, just one last question before I pass it back to Steve. You talked a little bit about that linebacker room. Just to name off some names here: Brewski, Vrabel, Junior Seau, Dalius Thomas. There's a lot of football IQ and a lot of skill in that room. What was it like being in that room?
In that room, the years of experience, how many years those guys had, like from Junior to Teddy to Braves to Rosie to Dalius to Don. I mean, at one point, Don Davis, Larry Izzo, like, it was crazy, man. It was crazy how much. And then it was like I was a rookie 2 years in a row, in a sense, because the rookies that they brung in, they released. So it was like, oh, you still got to – I'm not carrying y'all pads, but I get stuff for y'all. But I'm not carrying no more pads. I did that already.
Yeah.
But it was like they took me under their wing, man, and they taught me the game. Because, like, literally, I'm going to be honest, coming out of college, playing linebacker, I just played off raw talent. When you guys asked me earlier, like, well, what would you tell a kid that was most important about linebacker? I say feet work. I knew how to tackle, but I didn't have the feet work and things like that, or to the knowledge of how to what coverages was. This and cover 2, cover 4. I had to learn on a run, like literally. But those guys helped me. I stayed in Mike Vrabel's back pocket, Roosevelt. And then Ronnie Harrison even helped me, man. Like, it's like, man, hey, what am I doing on this play? And I was like, what? I don't play safety. But if you can learn their position and know where they're coming down at and what they're doing, then you're a better football player throughout, because all you're doing is listening to the calls. If they say Rita, then you know they're coming down to the right. They say Leonard, then you know they're coming down to the left. Sky support to the left, things like that. So they just made me a better football player, man. The knowledge that I learned from them guys, I think, I know more football than mostly anything out here. So it helps me, and I get to help young kids in my neighborhood now.
Very cool. You touched on your time in Buffalo a little bit, but I just wanted to ask specifically, how did it come about? You're a free agent, you're able to sign with the team, and then you actually do sign with Buffalo. So could you just walk us through what that situation was like?
Well, the Patriots released me, and Nick Caserio was like, man, we're going to bring you back. So I was like, all right, cool. But Antonio Coleman, who I knew from Buffalo, he was from Auburn University. At one point in time, we had the same agent. And he got hurt. He sprained his MCL. So Buffalo claimed me off waivers. But before that, Cleveland called and said, yeah, we want you to come in for a workout. I said, a workout? There's only 4 games left in the season. I'm like, y'all want me to work out? I'm like, y'all want me to play or not? And the crazy thing was, when I went to Buffalo, we played Cleveland. I never lost to Cleveland, so I'm 2-0 against my own city. Never lost it to them. And I know why they wanted me to come in with some kid that they had that was injured. Like, he was really hurt. He shouldn't even be playing with the shoulder he had. I was tearing his shoulder up every time I got a chance to hit it. But that waiver wire or whatever, like a team can claim you off for waivers. Buffalo claimed me right away, gave me like number 49. It was weird up there, man. It was just weird. It was different. It was way different. It was no coaches in the meeting rooms for film after practice. It was just the guys. They were like, they're pros, so they should know what to do. It was so many different calls made in the film room that it was the same thing in the game. So many different guys making calls, and it's like, this is not the way it should be. But I gained some friends up there. I mean, it was some good guys up there, man, that taught me. I know one thing, their special teams, man, was the truth. If ain't nothing else, Buffalo definitely had a good special teams. Those guys took very much a lot of pride in what we did when we was there as well, when I was there. George, uh, Brian Scott, George Wilson, Brian Scott, even Aaron Maven was cool, man. Just they did not like him. They did not like that kid, man. He was fat. Like, if the guys on the show team doing well, Bill was like, all right, you doing that good on the show team, I'm gonna put your butt on kickoff. You know what I'm saying? He would have played in New England. He'd have played a lot. He'd have been a way better player in New England than he was in Buffalo. He would probably still be playing right now had he not went to Buffalo. Buffalo destroyed that man's career because they didn't like him. They didn't give him the opportunity. And then Bob Sanders, who was the DN coach, the things that he did, my man Kabaya Jubilamila, he couldn't stand that guy. He was like, man, that dude, I would have still been playing. He killed my career, man. He killed my career. Some of the stuff some coaches, they just feel like they got it. I mean, my thing is, I listened to him, I learned from him, but yeah, he probably still coaching. Well, then again, I don't see no guys doing his style of the defensive end, so I don't know if he is coaching anymore. But he was different. He was different. If you do it his way, you weren't gonna play. And Aaron Maben didn't want to do it his way.
Dang. Well, all right, just switching gears a little bit here. I wanted to ask you, obviously now being hindsight 2020, what would you go back and, if you could, talk to 18-year-old Pierre, what type of advice would you give yourself as to, what was to come and how to navigate it?
Go even harder in life, and in the classroom. Do more, say less, lead by example. Honestly, if concussions would have came out my freshman year of high school, I don't know if I'd have been playing football though. I'm just being honest. Like, I was good enough in basketball to get a scholarship, even if it had been to a small school, which would have been fine with me because I know the effort that I had in basketball. I was a 6'5" Dennis Rodman. That's it. Dennis Rodman, but I can score. Run up and down the court. I was going to block shots. I was going to play defense. It didn't make no difference who it was. So a young 18-year-old Pierre, just, give him more. I mean, I think I put a lot into it because I was one of the first guys from my high school to go to a major college, which is a blessing. And everybody say, "Oh, you the trailblazer." I say, "No, I'm just a part of the chain. I'm part of the link, just like everybody else," which is a blessing. So that's what I would say. I try to tell kids all the time, man, just give effort, man. And nobody can teach that. If you give all the effort you have and everything that you do, you'll be fine. You'll be successful. I don't care what it is. You may not go to a big school or whatever, but you'll go to school. And once you get in school, it's what you do once you get there. Because at the end of the day, everybody a number. And it's only so many guys that's going to make a college team or get to a college team. And then so many guys make the pros. So for me to make the pros, man, it's like it was a dream come true. It was a blessing. And like, I'm thankful for it and appreciative of it.
Awesome. Yeah. Shout out to Glenville High too.
Yeah, man. Glenville High School, man. We 1-1 now. We got a big game coming up, but I got to go down to Massillon. My other son plays at Massillon, man. So Massillon High School with Sean Crabin went to school at. So I got to go down there and check him out.
Yeah. Well, before we get you out on the gauntlet, just one last thing. Of course, we know that you root for University of Michigan now. Just tell us this year for the season. Are there any teams or coaches that you particularly like to watch and see how they do throughout the season?
I like watching Georgia. I like watching Alabama. I like watching University of Michigan, of course. I even watch Ohio State. And people be like, man, how do you watch Ohio State? I'm in Ohio. They going to show these bums all the time. We all call each other bums, man. So it's just part of it. Like, you know what I'm saying? I think when LeBron said Donald Trump's a bum, you know, they took it the wrong way or whatever. But that's just how we talk to each other in Cleveland. Like, man, you're a bum. All right, bum. But like I just like watching college football, man. I really do. I enjoy it. It's good to see some of the kids out there, you know, having a good time. I mean, some of them probably came through the same doors or the footsteps I had to go through, but you get there, it's an enjoyment. It's a blessing. So I love watching college football. I love watching the guys from my high school who's in college or in the pros that's still doing it. And the guys that just get that opportunity to go out there and perform for their family every weekend.
Definitely. All right. Well, as promised, we have the gauntlet for you. So I hope you're ready for a couple quick hitters.
Let's go.
Pierre, we got to know what's more important, having the number 1 O or the number 1 D?
Number 1 D.
Defense wins championships. How about spread or power offense?
Power offense.
The 3-4 or the 4-3?
3-4.
Shootout or defensive struggle?
Defensive struggle.
Now, is there one coach or one player that you wish you would have had the chance to play with or play for?
I wouldn't want to pick no other coach besides Belichick and the guys that was on that coaching staff. One player that I'd love to play with, if he'd have came to the team, which would have been a different dynamic, but we'd still have to have Brady at quarterback, and he'd have to play a different position and play quarterback, would have been Michael Vick. I think that would have been split.
That would have been an offense. That would have been a real offense right there. Vick and Brady on the field at the same time. And what's finally, last one, what's most important, the players or the scheme?
Oh, man, that's a tough one. I say both. But at the end of the day, in New England, it's the scheme, man. It's always going to be the scheme. I think if you got the right scheme, the players are fit, period. You got the right scheme, the players are fit. With Jimmy, everybody was like, well, with Jimmy making it Cleveland, I said, he won't make it in Cleveland. Cleveland ain't had the right scheme, man, had the right fit, like the right players around him. He's going to be okay out in San Francisco because he got Kyle Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan, the things that he's done with his playbook and the guys that play for him is tremendous. You know what I'm saying? Think about RG3. He left Washington, went down to Atlanta. Think about them. Left Atlanta. Now he's in San Francisco. Look how Jimmy, you know what I'm saying? So with him, Jimmy's going to be fine. Jimmy would have came to Cleveland, he'd have been a bum. And that's just real.
Yeah. Well, I can't really argue against that. But all right, Pierre Woods, thank you so much for coming on with us. I want all of our listeners to know you can follow Pierre at PepWoods90. That's PEP Woods 99. Sorry, 99.
Yeah.
And that's on Instagram. Pierre, is there any other social media accounts?
I got a Facebook. It's Pierre M. Woods, I believe 99 as well. I really don't be on Facebook like that. I have a Twitter. I don't even be on Twitter like that. But I got to pick up the Twitter again because I do the sports commentating. So with Channel 43 19 Action News here in Cleveland as a freelancer. So I got to get my glasses, though, because the light be giving me headaches. So sure.
We'll be sure to check it out because we want to help get that out there for the next time you do it.
Okay, definitely, man. I got a show this weekend coming up. You know, the first, just pop off of the season. The Browns got to go 1-0, man. We gotta start off on a good foot. We got to play Pittsburgh. Le'Veon Bell ain't in the house, so we got to stop all that.
And the Browns did get Todd Haley, so maybe Jimmy G would have had a chance play with Ben Roethlisberger's old coach.
Now, yeah, but we talking
But
about
yeah, I know.
Yeah, then it wouldn't have worked, man. It was a disaster last year, man. It was terrible. 0-16, like Detroit in 07. I'll never forget that. How a team go 16-0 and another one go 0-16. Like, and the crazy thing is they had a great coach. They literally had a great coach. Rod Marinelli. I can't pronounce the last name, but I think he was a great coach. He coached, he know defense. And with defensive guys that he had, those guys should have never went 0-16. I always said Detroit has great teams. They just didn't know how to put it together. Like, those guys are mad right now that Matt Patricia make them run. But man, it works in New England. I tell you that. I tell people all the time. I ran in New England like I ran in high school and college. A lot of pro teams don't run like that.
Mm-hmm.
They don't run like that. So, if you're in better shape than the other teams, you're gonna win. You're gonna win. So appreciate you guys, man.
Very cool. Thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Pierre.